my mom stared at the chandeliers, the ocean view terrace, the custom floral arch. Then she whispered the sentence that destroyed everything. Tone it down. Your sister's wedding wasn't even this nice. If you want to understand my story, you need to understand my sister first. Bianca. The golden one. The favorite. The daughter who could do no wrong. The one whose existence cast a shadow long enough to swallow my entire childhood. When she got a B+ in school, it was the teacher's fault. When I got an A-, it was because I didn't try hard enough. When she crashed her first car, my parents gave her a second one. When I asked to borrow theirs once, they told me, responsibility is important, sweetie. Learn to earn things. When she got engaged, my mother cried harder than the bride. When I got engaged, their first response was, "Oh, already?" That was the story of my life. Every milestone I reached was compared to Bianca's, and mine always came up short. Not because they were smaller, but because they were mine. When I finally found my person. When I met Adrian, everything shifted. He saw me. Really saw me. Not as Bianca's sister. Not as the family afterthought. Not as the quiet one. He loved my mind, my drive, my ambition, my independence. And for the first time in my 29 years, I felt like I had a life that was mine. A future I built myself. When we got engaged, he insisted. Your wedding will be everything you want. No compromises. And he meant it. We toured 427 guests' venues. Walked through vineyard after vineyard. And visited ocean view estates until dusk. And when we finally found the one. A breathtaking cliffside resort with floor-to-ceiling windows. A marble aisle. Floating candles. And a panoramic ocean backdrop that looked like heaven. I cried. It felt like a dream. A dream I finally earned. A dream I deserved. I couldn't wait to show my parents. Oh, how naive I was. The day everything cracked. My parents arrived at the resort, wide-eyed, impressed, whispering to each other about how expensive everything looked. They hadn't asked a single question about my wedding until this moment. Hadn't offered help. Hadn't shown excitement. But suddenly, seeing the luxury around them, my mother's eyes gleamed. Wow. Bianca would have loved something like this. My stomach tightened. Mom, this is my wedding. My father nodded politely. Yes, it's nice. Very grand. Very big. I smiled nervously. That's the plan. My mom tilted her head. So, how big is the guest list? More than Bianca's? I paused. A weird question. I mean, yeah. Probably a bit more. But that's just because. My mother cut me off. That's not ideal. I blinked. Not ideal? Why? My father suddenly spoke up. You know how your sister is. She's very sensitive about comparison. Comparison? To her wedding from 5 years ago? I stared. Are you saying I should make my wedding smaller, because of Bianca's feelings? My mother sighed like she was tired of explaining basic math to a child. Well, sweetie, it wouldn't hurt to be considerate of her. Of her? On my wedding day? I brushed it off, trying to stay calm. Let's move on. I want to show you the ceremony space. We walked to the terrace. Sunlight hitting the ocean. The floral arch glowing in the breeze. Tiny gold flecks embedded in the marble aisle. It looked unreal. My mother's jaw dropped. Oh no. No. I froze. What's wrong? She walked around the arch like she was inspecting something toxic. This is too much. Too much. I repeated. This is exactly what I've always dreamed of. My father nodded. And that's the problem. I stared at them. What problem? My mother took a deep breath, looked me dead in the eye, and said the sentence that changed everything. Tone it down. Your sister's wedding wasn't even this nice. My chest tightened. I laughed, confused. Are you serious right now? She didn't blink. I'm completely serious. It would be disrespectful to have a wedding more extravagant than Bianca's. I felt something snap inside me. The argument that started the war. I crossed my arms. So let me get this straight. You want me to make my wedding worse? So Bianca doesn't feel bad? My father spoke gently, patronizingly. We're not saying ruin it. Just simplify. Make it elegant, not flashy. Flashy. The word dripped with judgment. This is the wedding I've dreamed of since I was 12, I said. And Adrian wants to give me everything I want. My mother shrugged. Adrian is nice and all, but this? This is too much. People will think you're trying to compete with your sister. I'm not competing with her, I snapped. She's not even in the equation. That's the problem, my father muttered. She should be. I nearly screamed. It's my wedding. Bianca, Bianca, Bianca. Her name never left their mouths. My mother crossed her arms. Sweetie, we need you to scale this down. Talking to the wedding planner will help. I'm not scaling anything down, I said through clenched teeth. My mother stiffened. Then we won't be attending. Silence. Heavy. Unbelievable. I stared at her. You're threatening to skip my wedding? My father nodded calmly. It's not a threat. It's a decision. We can't support you overshadowing your sister. Overshadowing? This wasn't Bianca's wedding. This wasn't Bianca's day. This wasn't Bianca's life. This was mine. And they didn't care. The moment they walked out. My mother adjusted her purse. If you insist on this, on all this extravagance, we won't come. I whispered. You're choosing her. Again. She didn't deny it. My father pressed a kiss to her head, signaling they were leaving. We hope you reconsider. I didn't say a word. They turned their backs on me. Walked across the marble terrace. Past the glowing chandeliers. Stepped through the arch. And left. Without looking back. My dream wedding was suddenly tainted with the taste of betrayal. And I stood there alone, staring at the ocean. Realizing that my parents had never, not once in my life, chosen me over Bianca. But they had just made the biggest mistake of their lives. Because I was done being the quiet, obedient child. If they wanted to exclude themselves, fine. The wedding would go on. And the revenge. Oh, it would be beautiful. 3 hours after my parents left the venue, my sister called me. She didn't ask about the wedding. She asked why I was trying to steal her spotlight. I should have expected it. Of course Bianca would get involved. I had barely gotten home, still shaking from what my parents said, still staring at the same 4 unread texts from Adrian, everything okay, when my phone lit up with Bianca's name. I almost ignored it. But a sick part of me wanted to hear what she'd say. I answered. She didn't even say hello. Bianca's first attack. Bianca. So. I heard you're acting like a spoiled brat. I inhaled slowly. Me. Wow. Straight to insults? Bianca. Don't play dumb. Mom told me everything. You really booked a venue that expensive? And all those flowers? And that menu? I rubbed my forehead. Me. What does my wedding have to do with you? Bianca laughed, a fake, cruel, sharp laugh. Bianca. Oh honey, everything has to do with me. People always compare sisters. There it was. The delusion. Me. No one is comparing us. Bianca. Yes, they are. They always have. And they always will. I clenched my jaw. Me. I'm not competing with you, Bianca. Bianca scoffed. Bianca. Of course you are. You always have. It's pathetic. My breath caught in my chest. Pathetic? You're just mad, she continued. Because my wedding set the standard, and you're trying and failing to beat it. The audacity nearly knocked me over. Me. I'm not trying to outdo you. I'm trying to have the wedding I want. Bianca snapped back. Yeah? Well, your wedding looks desperate. Flashy. Trying too hard. It's giving I need attention. My nails dug into my palm. Me. Did Mom call you just to insult me? Bianca. No. Mom called because she's worried about you embarrassing the family. Embarrassing the family. Me having a beautiful wedding. Embarrasses the family? But Bianca crashing 2 cars? Quitting 3 jobs? Getting bailed out of debt 3 times? That never embarrassed them. No. Only I embarrassed them. Only I was too much. Or maybe too visible. The golden child complex. Bianca lowered her voice into a condescending whisper. Look, I get it. You're jealous. My wedding was perfect. People still talk about it. Me. Bianca, your wedding was nice, but... She cut me off. But it wasn't this, right? That's what you want to say? Her voice grew louder. You've always wanted to be like me. Always wanted to be the favorite. But you're not. Something inside me snapped. Me. I don't want to be you. Bianca went silent. Completely silent. Then she hissed. Mom and Dad aren't going to your wedding. So don't expect me either. There it was. Me. Are you serious? Bianca. Yes. I'm not rewarding this behavior. Me. My behavior? I'm not the one making someone else's wedding about myself. Bianca snorted. You should be grateful we came to your engagement party at all. She said it so casually. So effortlessly. Like attending my engagement party was charity. Me. You've made everything about yourself since the day I got engaged. Bianca. Because everything is about me. She didn't even realize what she was saying. She meant it. Bianca. You're acting ungrateful. Mom and Dad give you so much grace, and you just spit in their face. Grace? What grace? The grace of ignoring me? The grace of choosing her? The grace of telling me to dim myself? Me. Bianca, I'm not changing my wedding. Bianca. Then none of us are coming. Before I could respond, she hung up. The silence that followed. I sat on my couch, staring at the wall. My family was boycotting my wedding. Because I wanted it to reflect me. Because it was nicer than Bianca's. Because I refused to rearrange my life around her feelings. I felt the sadness creep in. But not the way it used to. This sadness wasn't fragile. It was sharp. Angry. Resolute. A sadness that finally understood the truth. They never wanted me to shine at all. They never cared if I was happy. Only if Bianca felt superior. My wedding wasn't the issue. The issue was that I had the audacity to have something beautiful. Something that couldn't be overshadowed by her. The family meeting from hell. That night, my parents invited me over. Not to apologize. To talk things out. I went. Not because I wanted reconciliation. But because I needed clarity. I needed to understand the depth of the delusion. When I arrived, Bianca was already there. sitting like a queen on the couch, sipping wine, legs crossed dramatically. My parents were on the other sofa, arms folded, like judges waiting to deliver their verdict. I sat. My mother. We want to discuss your wedding. I stayed silent. My father. We talked as a family. A family that didn't include me. And we think it's best if you simplify things. I stared. Me. Define simplify. My mother clasped her hands. Smaller venue. Less decoration. No fireworks. No luxury cars. No designer gown. No champagne tower. No joy. No celebration. Nothing that would make me stand out. Me. Why? Bianca rolled her eyes. Because you look like you're trying too hard. It's embarrassing. Me. So I'm supposed to dim my happiness to protect your ego? Bianca slammed her wine glass down. Stop making it about me. I laughed, a dry, painful laugh. Me. Everything is about you. Mom made it about you. Dad made it about you. And you always make it about you. My mother raised her voice. We don't want to hear excuses. You either tone it down, or we cannot support this wedding. There it was. The ultimatum. Me. What exactly do you mean by support? My father sighed dramatically. It means we're not coming. Bianca added smugly. None of us. Silence. Long. Stretching. Suffocating. I finally nodded. Okay. Their eyes widened. My mother. Okay, what? I stood. Okay, don't come. Bianca's mouth fell open. My father's face twisted in shock. My mother's voice trembled. You're choosing this wedding over your family? I looked at them. Really looked at them. At least the wedding loves me back. I grabbed my bag and walked toward the door. My mother shouted behind me. If you leave right now, don't expect us to come crawling back. I turned. I never expected you to. That's why I built a life without you. And for the first time in my entire life, my parents and Bianca were speechless. I walked out. I closed the door behind me. And I realized something. My wedding wasn't missing them. They were missing me. But they wouldn't understand that until the day they saw what I built. And how little I needed them in it. The day they realized I wasn't going to break. 400+ words, community gossip, the sister's sabotage attempt, the fiancé's reaction, and the moment she decides her wedding will be unforgettable. My parents thought boycotting my wedding would break me. But the only thing it broke was the illusion that I ever needed them there. Walking out of my parents' house that night felt like stepping out of a long, suffocating tunnel. The air tasted different. The sky looked bigger. The world felt lighter. For the first time, I finally chose myself. But my family? They weren't done. Because when you stop playing a role they assigned you, the scapegoat, the quiet one, the invisible one, they panic. They scramble. They manipulate. They lash out. And oh, they lashed out. Adrian's reaction. I drove to Adrian's place, heart sinking with every mile. Would he think I was overreacting? Would he be upset that my family wasn't coming? Would he take their side? Would this ruin the wedding? I walked into his apartment and he saw my face. He stood up immediately. What happened? I told him everything. The venue scene. The tone it down demand. Bianca's tantrum. The family meeting from hell. The boycott. When I finished, I expected him to sigh or hesitate. Instead, he reached out, pulled me close, kissed my forehead, and said, "Good. If they don't respect you, I don't want them anywhere near our wedding." I blinked. You mean that? Absolutely, he said. I'm marrying you, not your family. And if they think dimming your joy is acceptable, they shouldn't witness it. Relief washed over me. Warm. Steady. Grounding. Adrian held my hands. And I want you to hear this clearly. Your wedding will be exactly the way you want it. Because you matter. Your happiness matters. And I love the way you shine. That was the moment I knew marrying him wasn't just right. It was destiny. But my family wasn't done. The next morning, my phone lit up with text after text. Not from my parents. Not from Bianca. But from relatives, neighbors, and family friends. People I hadn't talked to in years. Why are you trying to overshadow Bianca? Your sister is crying. Call her. Tone down your wedding. It's not that hard. You're being selfish. Your parents are heartbroken. My stomach burned with fury. Bianca was clearly telling everyone her version of the story. Making me the villain. My parents the victims. And herself the fragile, perfect, golden princess. I didn't respond. But I didn't need to. Because not everyone bought their story. The unexpected ally. At noon, my phone rang. It was my Aunt Louise, my dad's sister. The aunt who lived 5 states away. The aunt who never took sides. The aunt who always quietly observed. I answered. She didn't waste time. Sweetheart, your mother called me. My breath tightened. Oh. Yes. She was crying, saying you're trying to ruin the family, that you're turning your wedding into a spectacle, and that you refuse to accommodate Bianca. There was a pause. Then she said with a laugh. I didn't believe a word of it. I burst into tears. Actual tears. You didn't? Of course not, she said. I've known those people for 35 years. Your sister's ego is a black hole. Your mother enables her. Your father follows whatever's loudest. I laughed through my tears. Aunt Louise continued. You listen to me. You have one wedding. One. And you deserve to make it everything you ever dreamed of. If they don't want to be there, that's their loss. I wiped my face. I'm just tired. I know, she said gently. But you're stronger than all of them. Prove it. And if you need someone sitting on the bride's side, I'll be there front row. My throat tightened. Really? Of course, she said. And I'll bring my husband. He's 6 feet 3 inches and intimidating enough to keep Bianca away. I laughed again. The first real laugh in days. The sabotage attempt. But Bianca wasn't done. Not even close. 2 days later, my wedding planner called me in a panic. We have a situation. My heart froze. What now? She hesitated. A woman claiming to be your sister called the venue pretending to be you. And tried to cancel the fireworks show, the ice sculpture, the floral arch, and the champagne tower. My blood turned to fire. She what? She said, and I quote. The bride is having a meltdown and wants everything toned down immediately. I nearly screamed. She did not. She also tried to change the menu from truffle risotto to chicken nuggets. My jaw dropped. I put the phone down, walked in a circle, then picked it back up. I'm so sorry, I said. Cancel nothing. Change nothing. She has zero authority. My wedding planner lowered her voice. I know. I didn't believe a word she said. I exhaled. But she wasn't finished. One more thing, she said. She also asked if we could reduce the guest count by about 120 people. I froze. Which 120? The ones on your side. Unbelievable. Bianca was trying to erase me from my own wedding. I whispered. That's enough. I'm done staying quiet. The group chat explosion. I opened the family group chat. One they created without me for years. And only added me back into recently to keep the peace. My cousin had renamed it. Family wedding discussion ring sparkles. Oh, the irony. I typed one sentence. Bianca, stop interfering with my wedding. Within seconds. Bianca. What the hell are you talking about? Me. You tried to cancel my wedding features. Bianca. No, I didn't. Mom. Sweetheart, calm down. Dad. This is not appropriate. Me. The venue recorded the call. I'm getting the audio. Silence. Then. Bianca. Okay, fine. I was trying to help you. Me. By sabotaging my wedding? Bianca. It was too much. Mom said you were embarrassing yourself. Mom. Bianca, stop. Dad. Let's take this privately. Me. No. Everyone needs to see how you treat me. Bianca. You're being dramatic. Me. And you're being controlling. Bianca. You always steal attention. Me. It's my wedding, Bianca. I'm supposed to have attention. Bianca. You're so selfish. Me. I'm selfish for wanting my own wedding to be beautiful. Bianca. You're selfish for not caring about my feelings. There it was. Her truth. Her obsession. Her delusion. Me. You're jealous. Bianca went nuclear. Bianca. Jealous? Of you? Never. Me. Then why are you comparing your wedding to mine? Silence. Glorious silence. Finally, Aunt Louise jumped in. Aunt Louise. Bianca, sit down. You're embarrassing yourself. I nearly kissed my phone. Bianca bounced back. Bianca. Stay out of it, Louise. Aunt Louise. If you don't want to attend her wedding, don't. But trying to ruin it? That's pathetic. Mom. Louise, you're making things worse. Aunt Louise. No, Margaret. What makes things worse is enabling Bianca's tantrums. Dad left the chat. Mom left the chat. Bianca left the chat. Perfect. The turning point. I sat back, staring at my screen. For the first time. Someone in my family had defended me. Someone saw through the lies. The manipulation. The favoritism. Someone finally said, "You deserve better." And that was the moment something inside me shifted. A realization washed over me like warm ocean water. This wedding isn't missing them. They are missing me. My joy. My triumph. My growth. My love. My life. They chose to exclude themselves. And I finally felt free enough to let them. I stood up, grabbed my laptop, and opened the wedding design board. The fireworks stayed. The floral arch stayed. The luxury menu stayed. The champagne tower grew taller. The ice sculpture became double the size. And then, I added one more thing. A note for the planner. Make everything exactly how I dreamed. Bigger if possible. Because this wedding was for me and Adrian. Not for Bianca. Not for my parents. Not for anyone who wanted to clip my wings. My wedding was going to be spectacular. And the moment they saw it, the moment they realized what they lost, would be the sweetest revenge of all. My parents thought boycotting my wedding would punish me. But the moment the invitations went public, they realized they had punished themselves. 3 days after the group chat explosion, the situation got interesting. Because family drama doesn't stay inside the family. It spills. It leaks. It spreads like gasoline on pavement waiting for a spark. And my sister? She provided the spark. The gossip begins. It started with a phone call from my cousin Mia. Whispering. Urgent. Girl, what did you do? I blinked. What now? Mia lowered her voice like she was revealing classified government intel. Your mother is telling everyone they're skipping your wedding. I leaned back. Good. That's their choice. No, she said quickly. She's saying you forced them out. That you screamed at her. That you banned them. I almost choked. I what? Yup, Mia whispered. According to your parents, you told them, and I quote, don't bother showing up if you can't handle how successful I am. I rubbed my temples. My mother had reinvented the entire story. And Bianca? I asked. Oh, she's telling people you're jealous of her wedding, that you stole her ideas, that you're spending money you don't have to one-up her. I laughed. A real, sharp, painful laugh. Of course. Of course they couldn't accept what really happened. I chose myself over their obsession with Bianca. And in their eyes? That was the worst crime imaginable. But then. Something shifted. Mia coughed. There's more. What else? Well, people aren't buying the story. I sat up straight. What do you mean? Everyone knows how your family treats you, she said. It's obvious. They've been favoring Bianca since we were kids. People see it. They always have. I froze. You saw it too. Everyone saw it, she said. You were just the last one to believe it. My throat tightened. Then she added. And honestly? People are proud of you. You're finally standing up for yourself. I went silent. Something warm cracked open in my chest. Validation. Real validation. Not from my parents. Not from Bianca. Not from people who only wanted me small. But from someone who saw me. It felt like oxygen. The invitations drop. 2 days later, the official wedding invitations shipped. They were gorgeous. Pearl embossed. Gold foil trim. Handwritten calligraphy. A wax seal in the shape of a rose, Adrian's idea. We mailed invitations to heavy checkmark friends. Heavy checkmark my coworkers. Heavy checkmark family friends. Heavy checkmark Adrian's entire side of the family. Heavy checkmark a handful of distant relatives who actually treated me like a person. We did not send invitations to my parents. Bianca. Ethan. Anyone who told me to tone it down. Anyone who sided with my sister's delusion. And that's when things blew up. The first public post. It was Adrian's mother who posted it. She took a picture of the wedding invitation and uploaded it to Facebook with the caption. So proud of the woman my future daughter-in-law has become. She deserves a beautiful wedding, and we can't wait to celebrate her. Within an hour. It had 500 likes. People commented. She's such a sweetheart. Congratulations. That venue looks amazing. She deserves the world. Your son is lucky. My heart swelled. For once, I felt seen. Supportive comments. Kindness. Pride. Things my own family never offered me. But then. My mother commented on the post. A single sentence. We weren't invited. The internet sensed drama instantly. Replies came in like bullets. Why not? That's weird. Isn't she your daughter? Must be a reason. Spill the tea, eyes. Adrian's mother responded with the grace of a queen. Every bride deserves peace on her wedding day. Mic drop. People understood immediately. And for the first time in her life, my mother was on the wrong side of public opinion. The storm hits my sister. Bianca wasn't quiet for long. She posted an Instagram story. A black background. White text. Dramatic font. Imagine being so insecure you plan your wedding solely to compete with your own sister. Pathetic. She added the nail polish emoji for extra pettiness. I didn't respond. I didn't need to. Because the comments did it for me. People wrote, "Girl, you were comparing weddings. Her wedding is her wedding. Let her live. This sounds jealous, not supportive. Why do you care so much? Your sister deserves her day too. She's getting married, not entering a competition. And the best one. Be honest, you wish your wedding looked like hers." Bianca lost it. She blocked half the commenters. But the damage was done. Public approval had shifted. For once, she was the one being criticized. My parents panic. The next day, my dad texted me. "Call us. We need to talk." I ignored it. Then my mother sent, "You're making us look bad." There it was. Not, "You hurt us." Not, "We miss you." Not, "We want to fix things." Just, "You're making us look bad." That sentence told me everything I ever needed to know about their priorities. I finally replied, "You made yourselves look bad." Her response came instantly. "Wow. So rude." I muted the chat. The real turning point. 3 days before the wedding, Adrian's family threw a pre-wedding dinner. Nothing dramatic. Just a beautiful, warm, supportive dinner filled with people who actually wanted to be there. During dessert, Adrian's grandmother looked at me. Softly. Gently. Wisely. She took my hand and said, "You must have walked through a lot of loneliness to get here." My eyes filled with tears. She squeezed my fingers. "But you're not alone anymore." My chest cracked open. Adrian kissed my shoulder. His mother hugged me. His siblings welcomed me. His cousins cheered for me. And in that moment, I realized something I had been too afraid to admit. I had built a new family. A better one. A healthier one. One that didn't ask me to shrink to fit their comfort. I wiped a tear and whispered, "I think I'm finally ready." His grandmother smiled. "Good. Because your wedding will be the beginning of the life you always deserved." But then, my parents made their biggest mistake yet. The night before the wedding, my phone rang. "Bianca." I let it go to voicemail. A minute later, a text appeared. "You should know Mom and Dad are planning something. Good luck tomorrow." My stomach twisted. Was Bianca warning me? Or threatening me? I didn't know. I didn't care. Because nothing was going to ruin my wedding day. Not after everything I'd survived. Not after everything I built. Not after everything they tried to take from me. I would walk down that aisle. Shining. Glowing. Powerful. And they would face the consequences of the choice they made. They removed themselves from the most important moment of my life. And tomorrow? The world would see exactly what they'd lost. The morning of my wedding, I woke to 62 missed calls. And the first thing the wedding coordinator said when I walked into the venue was, "Your parents are here." My wedding day was supposed to be peaceful. Soft sunrise. Champagne. My girls laughing around me. Music playing softly through the suite. Me getting ready in a silk robe with "bride" embroidered on the back. And honestly, that's exactly how it started. I woke up feeling calm, soft, reborn, new. It was the first day of my life where I wasn't trying to impress anyone. I wasn't trying to earn love. I wasn't trying to outrun Bianca. I wasn't trying to win my mother's approval. I wasn't shrinking myself to fit their comfort. I was simply living. Adrian sent me a video that morning. He stood on the balcony overlooking the cliffs, wind in his hair, and whispered, "I'm counting the minutes until you walk toward me." I smiled. But then, my phone buzzed. Then again. And again. It wouldn't stop. 62 missed calls. From Mom, 18 calls. Dad, 12 calls. Bianca, 22 calls. Ethan, 9 calls. Unknown numbers, probably relatives. I refused to open a single message. Not today. Not on this day. I muted the phone and slid it into a drawer. My peace mattered more than their chaos. The rumor reaches me. At 11:17 a.m., the wedding coordinator, Leslie, knocked on the suite door. Her face was pale. "Can I speak to you alone?" My bridesmaids stepped out. Leslie shut the door and took a breath. "There's something you should know." My stomach tightened. "What is it?" She hesitated. "Your parents are here." The air left my lungs. "What?" "They showed up an hour ago. Uninvited." My jaw clenched. "And they're insisting they be let in." My head felt hot. "Did you let them?" "Absolutely not," Leslie said sharply. "But they're causing a scene." "Of course they were." Leslie hesitated again. "And there's more." I braced myself. "They're telling guests that you banned them." My heart dropped. "What?" "No, they chose not to come." Leslie nodded. "I know. But some guests don't. They showed up early and started cornering people. Telling everyone you're out of control, that you're jealous of your sister, that you're turning your wedding into a competition." I closed my eyes. Bianca. Bianca was behind this. Leslie placed a hand on my arm. I already had security escort them away from the ceremony area. They're outside the gates now. I inhaled deeply. How many people heard them? Too many. I swallowed. "Okay," I said. "Okay." Then we moved forward. Nothing changes. Leslie blinked. "You're sure?" "Absolutely," I whispered. "They don't get to hurt me on the best day of my life." She smiled. "You're stronger than you look." Strong. Funny. My family always called me weak. Turns out they didn't know me at all. The ceremony begins. By 4 p.m., everything was ready. Guests seated. Orchestra playing. Champagne poured. Sun glowing perfectly over the ocean. Flowers cascading down the marble aisle like a waterfall of petals. I peeked through the curtains. The ceremony space looked like a dream. No. Better. It looked expensive, breathtaking, unforgettable. Mine. Adrian stood at the altar, eyes searching for me, glowing with pride. My chest warmed. This was it. This was the moment everything changed. Leslie's voice came through the speaker. "Bride is ready. Stand by." The music swelled. My bridesmaids walked out one by one. I took a deep breath. Then, a security guard rushed backstage. His voice was low but urgent. "They're trying to force their way in." My head snapped toward him. "Who?" He hesitated. "Your parents. And your sister. They brought people." "What people?" He swallowed. "Your uncles. 2 cousins. A neighbor. They're yelling at the staff, saying it's their right to see the wedding." I felt a wave of hot anger roll through me. No. 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 Not today. Not today. I turned to the guard. Do not let them in. He nodded firmly. Yes, ma'am. I exhaled and stepped toward the aisle entrance. But before I could take one step, I heard it. From outside the gates. My mother. Screaming. This is our family. Let us in. The guests turned their heads. The violinists faltered. A ripple of confusion spread across the ceremony. And that's when I realized. My parents were about to ruin the biggest moment of my life. Unless I stopped them myself. The showdown. I turned to Leslie. Give me a mic. Her eyes widened. Are you sure? Yes. She handed me a small, wireless microphone meant for vows. I lifted my wedding dress with both hands and walked toward the ceremony gate. My bridesmaids gasped. Adrian looked terrified. Guests whispered. But I kept walking until I reached the edge where the venue met the outside. And there they were. My parents. My father red-faced. My mother crying dramatically. Bianca glaring at me like I was stealing oxygen from her lungs. Ethan looking embarrassed. Several relatives demanding access. They froze when they saw me. My mother's voice softened into practiced heartbreak. Sweetheart, you can't get married without your family. I raised the mic. Everyone fell silent. Every guest. Every bridesmaid. Every vendor. Even the waves seemed to stop. I spoke into the mic. Calm, steady, controlled. You're not being kept out because you're my family. My father's face softened. My mother stepped closer. Then let us in, she pleaded. I shook my head. I'm keeping you out because you spent my entire life dimming my happiness to protect my sister's ego. Gasps. Whispers. Bianca's eyes widened in horror. I continued. You told me to tone down my wedding because hers wasn't as nice. You tried to sabotage my plans behind my back. You spread lies to our family. You boycotted my wedding first. And when that didn't break me, you tried to ruin it. Bianca stepped forward. That's not true. It is, I said calmly. And you know it. My mother blinked rapidly. We're trying to fix this. No, I said. You're trying to control this. I paused. And you can't control me anymore. Silence. Thick and heavy. Guests watched with wide eyes. Some nodded. Some whispered. Some wiped tears. But I wasn't done. I lifted my chin. I invited people who love me. People who respect me. People who don't see me as a threat. I pointed gently to the wedding behind me. That is my family now. My mother broke. Actually broke. Sobs shaking her shoulders. My father shook his head in shame. Bianca scoffed loudly, crossing her arms. Ethan whispered, "Damn." I took a breath. You chose not to be part of my life. Today isn't the exception. Today is the consequence. And then I said the final line. The one that ended everything. You don't get to walk into my happiness when you spent years walking out of my life. I lowered the mic. Turned around. And walked back into my wedding. Guests burst into applause. Some stood. Some cried. Adrian wiped a tear from his cheek as I approached. And when I reached him, he whispered. That was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And we walked down the aisle together. Leaving my parents behind. On the other side of the gate. Exactly where they put themselves. Everyone thought my parents would leave after I shut them out. But narcissists don't walk away quietly. They wait, until the moment they think they can take the spotlight back. When I walked back into my wedding ceremony after confronting my parents, the entire atmosphere shifted. People saw me. Not as the quiet daughter. Not as the forgotten child. Not as Bianca's shadow, but as a woman who finally stepped into her own power. And when I took Adrian's hands, he whispered, "You're incredible." We said our vows. We exchanged rings. We kissed under a full ocean breeze and applause that felt like thunder. For the first time in my life, my happiness didn't feel fragile. It felt permanent. But of course, my parents weren't done. The reception they weren't invited to. The reception was breathtaking. Glass chandeliers. Floating candles in the pool. A live violinist looping over an R&B beat. Lavish tables with white roses, orchids, and touches of gold. A dessert wall. A champagne tower that sparkled under the lights. It looked like something from a movie. Adrian and I walked into roaring applause. We danced. We laughed. We toasted. People kept telling me, "You made the right choice. You look so happy. This is the best wedding I've ever been to." But somewhere, in the back of my mind, I knew. They were still outside. Waiting. Planning. Narcissistic families don't give up. They wait for the moment to reclaim attention. And that moment came at 8:42 p.m. The security breach. Leslie, the coordinator, approached with panic on her face. We have a problem." I closed my eyes. "What now?" She swallowed. "They got in." My chest tightened. "Who?" "Your parents. Your sister. All of them." "How?" Leslie exhaled. "A guest, one of your dad's old co-workers, let them in through the side entrance, thinking they were invited. Of course. Of course someone would betray the boundary." Leslie continued. "They're in the cocktail garden right now. They're asking for you." Loudly. I felt rage surge through every inch of me. "They were told not to come," I said quietly. "I know," Leslie whispered. "But they're drawing attention." I exhaled. "Okay," I said. "I'll handle it." The final showdown. When I stepped into the cocktail garden, I saw them immediately. My mother, tear-stained, dramatic, hands clasped like she was starring in a soap opera. My father, red-faced, stiff, pretending to be dignified. Bianca, arms crossed, wearing an expensive dress that screamed, "I'm the real bride." Ethan, standing behind them looking embarrassed to be alive. The moment they saw me, my mother gasped. "Sweetheart. Thank God. We thought you'd want us here after all." I stared blankly. "I didn't." She blinked rapidly. You can't mean that." I stepped closer. "This is my wedding. You were not invited." My father stepped forward. "Stop being childish. This is family." I laughed. "You only use the word family when you want something." Bianca scoffed. "Oh please. You should be grateful we showed up." People were starting to talk. "Yes," I said with a razor-sharp tone. "About you." Her eyes widened. I continued. "They talked about how jealous and controlling you've been. How obsessed you are with being the center of attention. How hard you've tried to sabotage my wedding. And how pathetic it is that you can't stand not being the star." Bianca's mouth opened wide. That's not." But I wasn't done. I turned to my parents. "And you too. You embarrassed yourselves today. Not me. Not Adrian. Not anyone here." My father's voice dropped into a growl. "You're humiliating us." "No," I said softly. "You did that yourselves." My mother stepped toward me, reaching for my hand. "Sweetheart. We're sorry. We just didn't want to be left out." "You left yourselves out," I said. "You were invited into my life for 29 years. You chose to walk out because Bianca needed all the attention. Bianca stomped her foot. I never said that. Your behavior did, I snapped. Silence. Then my mother whispered. Can we, please, stay for the rest of the wedding? We promised to behave. I studied their faces. 3 people who spent years making me feel small. Insignificant. Invisible. 3 people who believed I owed them access to my joy. 3 people who only wanted to be here now, so they wouldn't look bad. And then I said the words I'd been holding in my entire life. No. My mother gasped. My father blinked. Bianca shook her head violently. You can't be serious. I stepped back. You are not welcome here. Not now. Not ever again. Bianca lunged toward me. You can't do this. You're not better than me. Leslie signaled security immediately. 2 guards stepped forward. Ma'am, we'll escort them out. My mother sobbed loudly. Please. Just let us be part of your special day. I whispered. You weren't there for any of my special days. My father's voice cracked. We made mistakes. And now you face consequences, I said. Actions have consequences. You taught me that. Or tried to. Bianca pointed at me angrily. You're going to regret this. Everyone will see how cold you are. I smiled. For once. That doesn't scare me. The guards moved forward. Bianca screamed. My mother cried. My father cursed. Ethan whispered, damn, okay, and followed quietly. And for the second time that day, they were escorted off the property. Only this time, I didn't even look back. The moment I took my power back, I walked back into the reception. Everyone knew something had happened. Whispers floated through the air. Eyes followed me. But the moment Adrian saw me, everything softened. He walked up, took my hands, kissed my forehead. You okay? I nodded. I am now. He smiled. Then let's celebrate. And we did. We danced. We drank. We laughed until our stomachs hurt. During the father-daughter dance, Adrian's father stepped in. Would you allow an old man to borrow the bride? He asked. I tried not to cry. He whispered as we danced. Family doesn't always share blood. Sometimes it shares love. I broke. Completely. Happy tears. Tears I never thought I'd shed. And when I looked around the room, I realized something powerful. I wasn't missing anything. My wedding wasn't missing anything. The people who were missing were the ones who chose to be. My wedding wasn't ruined. It was perfect. Because it was mine. Unapologetically mine. And that was the greatest revenge. The last message they ever sent. At midnight, as Adrian and I rode off in the getaway car, my phone buzzed. A text from my mother. You broke this family. I blocked the number. I turned my phone off. I leaned into Adrian's shoulder. And I said, finally free. No. I saved myself.